Hello, bitches and hoes, and welcome to the JMC Cast. We don't have Michael again. We have no idea when we're next going to have Michael. It's quite a worrying situation, but hey, at least it's sunny outside. This week we have Noah back once again with the Noah person.
Yes, hello everybody.
And we've got two foreign films once again. We've got Noah has brought The Heroic Trio, which is a Hong Kong film, and I have brought Gantz, which is a Japanese film. Which all looks to be very, very cool and fruity.
Certainly does.
I'm going to ask Noah a question.
Right.
So, let's say you were in a noir mystery set in, 30s America, New York, Great Depression.
Okay.
And you're on the trail for someone who is making counterfeit bacon out of people.
Right.
How do you solve this crime?
Okay. I would go and enlist the help of your friendly neighbourhood cannibal.
Okay.
And I feel like they're probably good at tracking down human meat. So, I'd give them some of the bacon and they could try it and then they'd get a taste for it, and sort of like a sniffer dog would lead me to where this human bacon is being made. That's how I'd do it.
So
There'd be lots
cannibal would lead you to the abattoir.
Yeah, or warehouse or whatever they're. I'm not really an expert on making bacon out of humans, to be honest. So
neither am I, luckily.
No, yeah, it's a good thing, really, to not be interested in that.
Okie dokie. Well, without further ado, if you got a coin, let's flip to see what film.
Yeah. Okay. Should we say heads for Gantz O and tails for the Heroic Trio?
Sounds gangster.
And it's heads.
Is that Gantz O?
That is Gantz O, heads.
Right, well, Gantz O is one of my favourite films. It's just so cool. It's sick.
I didn't realise you'd seen it before.
Yeah, this is my third viewing.
Okay.
But the last time I saw it was a year ago, and then the one before that was 2 years ago. So I've kind of spread it out evenly.
Okay, good.
What did you think of it?
Well, I thought it was good. Yeah, I came into it with the impression it'd be sort of anime style, but it was more. I think it was more realistically animated than anime. Obviously, it did for most of it feel like one giant video game trailer, but then obviously at the end, are we spoiling it or not? There's a big twist at the end, which brought some more depth to it. It wasn't fully just fighting and killing monsters. But yeah, no, it was good. It had some cool weapons, and had thought put into them. Some cool monster designs as well. They were.
Oh yeah, all the monsters were completely different.
They were insane. The creative, writers, the ability of them for this is very good. It reminded me sort of the Rick and Morty kind of style, crazy, random things that clearly just popped into their head, i.e. a giant flaming head on a wheel that rolls around and
yeah, there was 3 of those weird wheel heads, weren't there?
They were, honestly though, it did the job. It was pretty terrifying. If I saw that coming down the street if I was in Japan, I would certainly run away.
Yeah, I mean, like all of the designs, they were just freaky deaky. I think the scariest one for me was the big monster that was attacking that family, and it had like those weird eggs in its back
Yeah,
that it was storing people in.
it was like spots, like pimples, but they were people that
Yeah,
you
there's
had to
people in the
get out.
pimples.
I thought that the grandpa, although he was trying to protect his wife and that child, could have picked something other than a broomstick to fend
Yeah, it
off
was a bit
a
stupid.
gigantic monster. He clearly gathered what he could.
Yeah, he was trying his best, but it definitely wasn't good enough.
It certainly was not good enough.
And
Um,
it might surprise you to hear this, but Gantz is based off the Gantz manga, so there's a lot more Gantz that you can read, and this is like
oh, okay,
one of the bigger arcs of it.
right. So is it all similar to, just for the audience at home? The premise of the film is that people, correct me if I'm wrong here, Joe, but people die and then get brought back to life by this Gantz machine company, and they have to then fight these monsters that are attacking Tokyo and Osaka in Japan. Uh, yeah,
That's
that's sort
pretty
of what
spot
goes on.
on, but mainly we usually just see what's going on in Tokyo, but around the end of the manga we find out that there's Gantz in every country with aliens
Oh,
invading
okay,
everywhere.
right.
Yeah.
No one seemed to be that flustered by it. That was the thing. Like the world hadn't gone into anarchy. There wasn't big armies. The news were reporting on it as though it was just your average daily occurrence. Giant monsters attacking the kid. Like just watching the news, going to bed. Oh, bad! What's happening in Tokyo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, he just didn't. I suppose I don't know. Has it in the comics? Has it been or manga? Has it been going on for long? Is it like just a standard thing?
Yeah. Like, I think it was quite interesting that they had a bunch of people from Tokyo going to Osaka because that's basically the equivalent of like a bunch of people from like somewhere in London being transported to Liverpool, and then there's like a ton of Scousers that are just
Yeah,
like way better than them.
yeah, yeah. It was. There was a good dynamic there that happened. I thought.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good plot line. Spoilers here, but the the main character that we follow is like he's quite heroic. He likes saving people. So his way of dying was at a tube station. There was a man attacking people with a knife, and he went to try and save someone, but just got like sliced up. Um, but then he spent his whole time in the Gantz, going around helping people, and everyone was like, you're crazy, but he overcame the odds, defeated the boss that I thought just did not die, and it
it
kept
didn't die. It just kept coming
reforming.
back.
Yeah, I thought honestly, there's the the bull angel thing
Oh yeah, the
was the
red. There was
boss.
actually in the manga. There was originally two of those, but one of them was more like a dog. That the
Right.
so they had to. So those two had to defeat both of those things.
But then it turned out I wasn't the boss, and then the little old man came, and like I just flipped over all the sword attacks,
And then
and
turned
then
into a monster made of
a,
breasts.
a yeah, a giant breast monster. That was probably the most shocking moment of the film, because I didn't expect it. I mean, from there on out, after that happened, I was genuinely not sure what was going to happen. I didn't know what insane things were going to come.
Yeah.
But that was certainly the oddest sort of like, what is that? Oh my gosh, it's just a giant breast monster.
It's even worse in the manga because in the manga there's this one really horny guy who goes around having sex with aliens that look like women, and then he just jumps on the
Nice.
giant breast monster and starts having sex with its mouth.
Oh dear.
I know.
Well,
The Gantz manga
I
is a
am.
lot more wacky like that.
Okay, you know what, I'm glad that wasn't included in the film because I think that would have pushed me over the edge to be honest.
Yeah.
That would be a little too far.
Yeah.
But no, it was good.
Which,
yeah, anyway, like I was, yeah. Sorry, go on.
which version of the boss do you think was the most terrifying?
Okay. Thinking through it, I think probably the one that came and like stopped the main guy and was like, "Stay here, I'll come and kill you later." I think that form was certainly the most terrifying / looked the most dangerous. The old man, I thought he was just gonna be harmless and was just gonna get like cut up. But he was probably the most overpowered because he just like reformed himself. Then the giant breast monster was alarming, but I think would not really that scary. To be fair, actually, the skeleton guy at the end with the laser eyes.
Yeah, and he gets like
was quite. He was quite scary. The unpredictability of where he was going to blast.
Especially when he was like cut in half,
that
and then there's lasers shooting out randomly from two eyes.
Yeah, that was mad. Or actually, it could have been when he was in his like gigantic bull tarantula looking thing for.
Oh no, that wasn't him. That was just a random bull tarantula thing.
Oh, okay. I thought he turned into that.
No, that was just there as well.
Oh, okay. Just your standard bull tarantula thing.
Yeah, well, they got the mech to deal with it, so.
My mistake. Yeah, that was a cool mech. Talking about the mech and the weapons, what do you think your favourite weapon was?
Well,
they did have some interesting ones.
I know all the terminology for this because I've kind of read it all, but my favourite is the hard suit, which is the kind of thing with the knives on the end of the shot of the elbows that he was wearing in the last fight.
Oh yeah.
I think those are really cool because the fists are overpowered, but at the same time, like the Y gun's cool, the one that kind of teleports it into space.
The what?
The Y gun.
The Y gun.
Yeah, because there's the gun that just like makes it explode. There's the one that shoots like pressure down, and there's the one that ties it up with rope, and then parts of it get teleported away.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did like that.
You didn't like it?
I thought it was like, no, I did like it. I thought it was like the whole teleporting thing. It was like the same, but it was just deleting them.
Yeah, I saw it as they teleport part of the monster and then sever the connection, so like the head gets chopped off, kind of thing.
They do like their head damage. I think my favourite one. It was a close call between the. It's got to be the one with like the pressure wave that came and like slammed down, because it was certainly gory, but it was also a cool idea, I thought. And I'd probably say probably the most overpowered one as well.
Yeah, although like that weird red thing just wouldn't go down with it, and it's like, geez, you're taking a lot of pressure waves to the head.
Yeah, well, I think that the point of it, what they were trying to say was you can only beat him with a surprise attack. So once he knew it was coming, he could take it. Then I think that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Because like obviously they had to snipe that final guy.
But like not Corono, Kato. He was such a nice guy. I love Kato. He's probably my favourite character from Gantz.
Mm.
And I think they set it up quite well as well at the beginning, where they establish, oh yeah, we've killed our main strongest guy has just been killed off. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Because like not only that, but like just from the manga, not only did they lose their leader, they've also just lost the world's greatest wrestler who was part of their team, and a guy who had cool psychic powers who was part of their team. So
Was the wrestler guy, was he the big strong guy that the computer game one just killed?
No. You kind of saw him at the end when there was the flashback to when Kato was there before, and then you could kind of see the back of him.
Oh, okay.
But they just lost that
Yeah.
guy.
I thought that random, the random like big muscular one who said he only had about 4 lines, but he managed to get Punk into every single one of them.
I think he was supposed to be a
Talking
Yakuza
about
person
that
because
kid.
occasionally Gantz picks up Yakuza people and then they end up getting killed because they're so far up their own arse. They're like, oh well, I
Well,
can defeat you, and then they just can't.
That is exactly what happened to that guy. Well, to be fair, he didn't even make it into the town.
No, Nishi
Just
just wrecked him.
He was. I liked him. I thought he could have shown a bit more emotion.
Oh no, Nishi's just like
Um,
that. Like, they killed him off in the manga for a bit and then brought him back. And like, as soon as they brought
Oh,
him
right.
back, because it was like a couple days to the apocalypse, he just went and did a school shooting as soon as he came back to life. And it's
Oh.
like, bloody hell, mate.
Lovely.
Bloody hell.
He's just a bit. He did. I think he had the. He certainly had the strategy I'd go for, which is cloak and hide and wait for the person to be vulnerable and then just get them.
Yeah, I think turning invisible is probably the best option in the scenario. Because then, things don't notice
So
you and
is-
you can just kind of kill them from the shadows.
Yeah. Was the invisibility thing, is that something he had, or is that one of like the upgrade weapons that you get for?
I think that was one of the
100 points?
upgrade things he gets for 100 points. I know you could. The things
Yeah,
you get
was a good
automatically,
system.
you automatically get the 2 types of guns and the sword. But if you want to get can we talk
Right.
about how awesome the Gantz bike is?
Yeah, that was a cool sort of like Batman kind of upgraded tech thing. It looked like Batman meets Avatar kind of tech.
Yeah. And it's got like a machine gun on the
thing.
top, and it's like shaped like a G, and it kind of like hovers, and it's so freaking cool. I love it.
I thought it didn't get as much screen time as maybe it should have done. It wasn't really on there for very long.
Nah, but when it was on there, you were like, oh boy, it's the Gantz
Yeah.
bike. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and they even like showed how powerful it was when they were looking at all the enemies dying, and then the Gantz bike got involved and just eliminated them all.
Yeah, you can do a lot with the Gantz bike.
Oh, yeah. Clearly.
I think the chapter when the Gantz
But
bike was introduced, the same chapter as the old man was introduced originally.
He was a nice guy, but he really didn't bring much for the team, I don't
No, he just kind of sat
from just
around
being-
being like, oh no, don't fight, you'll get hurt. And it's like, yeah, that's the point.
You,
I mean, if we get our arms chopped off, we can
you
just
can't
get more arms.
Yeah, you can't blame him though, to be fair. He was just an old guy. He just wanted to die, clearly.
Yeah.
Or he didn't want to be brought back to life again.
To be fair, I'm kind of
Fight
annoyed.
evil
I'm kind of
monsters in his
confused
old
as to
age.
why, like, everyone else was able to take such punishment on their Gantz suits, and then like a couple explosions to the chest, and his Gantz suit was knocked out. It's like, come on, Gantz suits are better
Well,
than that.
Cinematic effect,
Yeah,
clearly. Yeah. All about building that tension.
yeah. Building up
Those
how
suits were actually
badass
cool.
the boss is. Oh, and that moment when the boss comes back with that guy's head, like the guy who's beat Gantz 7 times. Oh.
Yeah, I honestly, I think I saw that one coming.
Yeah.
That he'd just go and eliminate him. He did well, but clearly not well enough.
No. I mean, I think
And it was really irritating me at the end when he was crawling for the slam weapon, and he was going so
to
slow.
be fair, he's
I was
just
thinking,
lost his
please.
legs, so I don't think.
Yeah, he didn't have any legs, but life or death, bit of adrenaline, crawl a bit quicker, mate.
Yeah, I think he could have crawled a bit quicker. Yeah.
And again, tension.
Building up the tension
That's
so
what we want to
his
do.
girlfriend, who's like 6 years older than him, can survive.
Yeah, when he said he was 17, I thought, really? I thought he was older. I honestly thought that kid was his son or something at the start,
No, no.
rather than his brother.
He's my age.
Wow. I yeah, he certainly looked a lot different than you.
I liked how they were able to get like such detail in the animation and just have it fully CGI, and it looks so crisp,
Yeah.
and you can see all the light is perfect, and all the beads of sweat on the foreheads, they're properly, everything just feels real, and the characters are just real enough and just anime enough so it doesn't go into the uncanny valley on either side.
Yeah, they had a good balance that kept it so you still knew it was anime, but it did look realistic. Sort of like a bit of a Tintin kind of look, where it looks really realistic, but also still animated.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
They do have an anime of Gantz, but I wouldn't suggest watching it because it's shit.
Oh. Would you call Gantz O more of an animation than an anime?
I think I'd call it more of an animation. I'd call it an animation film.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's definitely the best adaptation that Gantz has gotten so far.
Well, yeah, I'll have a look into the other ones. I thought it was just a standalone film.
There's the manga, and I've got the
part of a
other two
franchise.
films on DVD, so I'll lend you them when I next see you.
Oh, there's two.
Yeah,
others,
but
right?
they're live action though.
Are they both? Are they all? Oh right.
Yeah, they were made like.
Are they?
Yeah, they're a bit
older?
old. They're mid to late 2000s when this was made, like 2018.
Yeah. Okay. I think this one was 2016.
The only problem with the like films, like the first one, is really good because it's like proper like how the manga was, but then the second film kind of goes off the rails, and then just weird shit happens, and it's just like, what? What are you doing? This isn't Gantz. This is ridiculous.
Alright. Well, people always seem to find that the prequels, not the prequels, the sequels always go a bit downhill.
Except if you're like Terminator or Alien.
Back. There are some exceptions, but yeah. That's what my dad always says. He prefers the original for things.
Yeah, I watched the sequel to Class of Nukem High, and I've got to say the first one's definitely better.
Yeah, that was what he said. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I've been thinking about watching the
That's his
third
thoughts.
Class of Nukem High, but it's like, is it really worth it? Because like the first one's just such a classic, and then the second one, it's like just a bunch of naked women running around everywhere.
No, I haven't seen any of them, to be honest, so I don't know. But I will ask him about
Yeah,
them. But anyway,
that's a different story.
that could be for
That can be for another
podcast.
podcast,
That's
yes.
a different story.
How were there any members of the other Gantz team that you honestly felt were going to survive the whole time?
I thought that his, sort of girlfriend wasn't gonna die. I did think that those two cocky guys were gonna die. I could see it coming. They were being too arrogant and playing up how cool they were. I honestly, I was sort of hoping that they were gonna die, which they did. But I thought she wasn't gonna die. But then once she did, I was sort of hoping it didn't bring her back to life, because I was sort of just thinking, go back to your brother. He wants to see you. And then obviously we found out
He'd already done it.
that he'd already done that, and then had managed to die again on his third time at
I know, and like this is the other time
the
he
age of
died. He also
17.
died in a subway trying to get a homeless man off the train tracks, and then he got like decapitated by a train.
Wow. Is
Yeah, it's in the manga
as
and the
well?
live action one.
Okay. Well, clearly he's a nice guy, but he does need to learn when maybe not to intervene, i.e. there's a crazed man with 2
Yeah.
hunting knives. Maybe he's not gonna win that fight.
Yeah, and especially don't try that on your brother's birthday.
I know. It was quite sad actually that it annoyed me how he phoned him up, and his brother was like, "Have you forgotten?" He was like, "Have you forgotten what?" As some sort of joke. But like, really, clearly he's been in a habit. Well, actually, now it makes sense that he was cross at him for being late, because it clearly has happened before when he was in the Gantz
Yeah.
beforehand. I assume that's where it's come from. Has he been in it more
No, he's
than
just been in it
twice?
once before.
Or okay. And does the whole manga revolve
No,
around
the
him?
manga
Or is
mainly
it like
revolves
other
around the
characters
guy
as
that
well?
died in the beginning.
Oh, okay. I see. So he's like the new
Well,
hero.
Kato's in it at the beginning because both him and the guy who died at the beginning of this film get hit by the train in the beginning of the manga. And then Kato dies for a while,
Ah, right.
and then our main guy dies, then Kato comes back to life, and then a while later, our main guy comes back to life twice, and it's weird. It's all very strange. You'd have to read it to understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a mad concept, but it's a good one. I thought it's been certainly well
Yeah.
executed.
There's Gantz really doesn't skimp
from-
on the absolutely horrifying deaths.
Yeah, I thought actually, there were a few of like the head explosions and the stuff that they covered up by panning away, and I thought it was going to be more violent. Obviously, yeah, there was certainly plenty of gore, but they did try and cover away from it at some points, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, like, Gantz, the main 3 things it's known for is violence, large-breasted women,
Nudity.
and
Yeah.
I think that's it. Oh, cool monster designs as well.
Yeah. 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 I suppose, if you're just after a bit of mad violence or just mad violence, clearly it's the franchise for you.
Although, I think that they did, I mean, of course it's Gantz, so you've got to have a lot of this, but, like, throughout the whole film, the breasts were so jiggly, like, they never stopped moving. Even when the girl got, like, split in half, her breasts were bobbing up and down.
I know. I thought they were pushing their look a bit there, but it was just like, it's a bit unnecessary, really, isn't it? It seems to be a common theme among these anime things that they just keep them jiggling, but
Well, I suppose you gotta jiggle, you gotta jiggle.
Whatever. Yeah, clearly that's probably the motto that they've got there at Gantz.
Definitely the official Gantz motto.
That's what they go by in the animation team. Right. Are we gonna give like general thoughts?
Yeah, do you want to go first with your final thoughts?
Okay. So, yeah. Very enjoyable, quite, violent. If you're into violent things, that's probably that's probably your cup of tea. If you like a bit of violence, then this is the one for you. And cool design as well. Some mad ideas, mad violence. Those would be the 4 words I'd sum up the film in.
Yeah, I think that does sum up the film quite well. You've got mad. Oh, what would you give it out of 10? Can't give it a 10.
Out of 10, I'm not. The only thing is that kind of anime style isn't my cup of tea. I'm gonna say
7, only a 7.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's got to be. It was enjoyable, but I think it certainly is playing to a quite specific audience, which I am not fully a part
Not yet.
of. No, not yet, but maybe I will be converted.
Quite possibly. I know Ruben's just gone into Attack on Titan.
Wow, okay.
He really
jumped down
has.
the rabbit
He's
hole there,
messaging me every 5 minutes about it, and it's okay that he's doing it. I'm happy to answer his questions, but at the same time, it's like, whoa, this is quite sudden.
Yeah. Wow. And what would you?
9.5. It's one of my favourite movies.
Thoughts?
I love it. It's Gantz. I love
9.5,
Gantz.
wow. What stopped it from the 10?
It's not my favourite arc. They could have done a different arc that I prefer better, but most of the arcs that I prefer are a lot shorter, so I don't know if they'd have transferred as well. Like the statues arc. Oh, I don't know if it's even an arc. I think it's part of the catastrophe arc, but like where they're just fighting statues in Rome, and the statues are just annihilating everyone. I think that would have been interesting to see, but
Wow.
again, I like what they did, so yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to introduce the heroic trio?
So, the heroic trio is Hong Kong action film with, if any of you have watched any of that kind of thing, I really like it. Lots of wire work in the fighting that is obvious it's wire work, but it's cool anyway because they go flying around doing ridiculous things and tricks, and it's good fun, and it's got some really high up like martial artists like
Michelle Yeoh,
Michelle
what a
Yeoh
great
and
actress.
Maggie Chung. Yeah, they're all I don't know much about them, but they are big in the martial arts world. So along with it being a little goofy and unnaturalistic, it's also got some quality fights in it because they are very good at martial arts.
It's also got a man with a chain whip that has a bird cage on it that chops people's heads off.
That was one of my favourite moments of the whole film. That weapon is so bizarre.
It is cool. It's very creative. Like when he's in the train station and then just chopping people's heads off with this cage whip. It's just molto bene.
Yeah, it was good. So yeah, the opening first bang out of the stocks, and the guy does like a flip out the window, pulls this man out of the car with a vine and like spins him onto the floor, and I was like, yes, this is what I've come for. The wire work, the fighting, the craziness, and it really...
Didn't
really
you
started
try and
off
get us
well
to do wire work for Doom
me.
in the Woods because you originally wanted to throw Michael off a cliff?
Yeah, that was part of my plan, because I seen it and I thought that just looks
But
cool.
it's a lot more difficult to actually pull off.
It's more difficult than I thought, and probably way past our budget for rigging a whole wire system. You know what?
Hopefully,
we'll get there
we should be able to
when we're
get
making
some
actual
scenes
films.
filmed next Saturday, hopefully.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know your thoughts on that first scene. But
if I'm going to be honest, I was kind of bored with the first half an hour, because I was doing that whilst I was painting, and I was just like, sorry.
Wow. Okay.
The whole film was quite absurdist that I quite liked, but at the same time, isn't there like a copyright on Wonder Woman? Well, Wonder Woman is a DC property. In the version I watched, the main one was called Wonder Woman.
Oh, I didn't pay attention.
Did you not
to
notice that they were like, "Oh look,
Um,
it's Wonder Woman"? How?
No, I didn't. It could have been the. I don't know. It could have been the. Did you watch it in Chinese?
I watched it in
or
Chinese.
Did you watch the dubbed version? Oh, okay. I watched it dubbed. Because I didn't want to read the whole thing. I did actually watch Gantz. I turned off the dubbing just for the full experience, but I watched this one dubbed because I like to pay attention more to what's going on. So they might have not said Wonder Woman. I don't know. Well, that's her name. She was cool.
I mean, they only become a heroic trio in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah. But it's like the whole thing is, building up to the team up and getting everyone together, but also some other.
Is it just me, or does the main, the final boss of the heroic trio kind of remind you of the last boss of Gantz?
Yeah, the similar old man style, although he didn't turn into a giant.
No, but he
breast,
turned into a weird undying skeleton thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that too, actually. They both
got hit by massive objects and just survived.
I thought the costume of when he overtook the woman at the end, I thought that was quite a good practical effect, it sort of being on her and controlling her. Because obviously it's quite an old, or fairly old film.
Oh yeah, I thought it was extremely impressive.
But those Hong Kong action movies, they seem to favour practical effects a lot over special effects. I like a good practical effect. I like that. Not just resorting to CGIing things. And obviously the stuff they let the actors do would 100% not get past in Hollywood or any big movie.
Oh no, but this is Hong Kong. Hong Kong's cooler.
Anything goes. Two babies dying in a film, and
it just gets impaled with a nail.
Would definitely not get past anywhere else in the world. But they don't care. I liked it. I thought it was good. The scene where I think the character is called Mercy. She's like the mercenary woman with
and
the
motorbike
and the cool. Yeah, she when she chucked the dynamite into a barrel and just took off. That caught me off guard, to be honest. I was not expecting it whatsoever. I thought it was gonna I don't know, send it flying or explode or something, but not act like a personal rocket, but zoom.
Yeah, the physics in this was definitely rather confusing.
Well, that's just
because Wonder Woman just leaps everywhere, just hopping around.
That's the Y word.
Did we ever find out what the connection between Wonder Woman and that other woman was? The Invisible Woman.
The Invisible One.
Because they had those tattoos.
I think they were all either sisters or taken in by the main boss guy, but then one of them, they managed to escape or get away. They were all his. They were he trained them up to be warriors and stuff and rule as an emperor with them. That's what I thought.
Did they make a sequel to this?
I think so. I think there is a sequel to it, my dad said. I can't remember what it's called, but there is. I'm pretty sure there is one here.
Oh well, who knows if it's any good or not, that sequel. I suppose anybody at home will just have to watch the sequel and find out.
Yeah.
This one was pretty good. I wouldn't rate it as highly as Gantz, but I'd still rate this one pretty good.
Yeah, it's if you're into Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Chow Yun Fat, maybe kind of ones like that, fighting craziness,
Oh yeah,
This is
definitely.
certainly the one for you. Certainly had Crouching Tiger. Crouching Tiger.
Oh,
kind of
that
vibes,
reminds me.
but
Have you seen
a
Cobra
bit more
Kai?
modern. I have not.
You've got to watch
I've been
Cobra Kai
told it's
now.
very
You've got
good,
to
but
watch
I have
Cobra
yet to
Kai.
watch it. Okay, I
Yeah,
I will. I will.
do
I
it.
will try to as soon as I can. Is it come from the?
Yeah, it comes from the Karate Kid,
Is
but
that
the good 80s Karate Kid, not the
continuation?
shit Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan Karate Kid.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't mind that one, but I haven't seen the original one. In
To be fair, I
fairness, so
hadn't seen the original
can't
one
judge it.
because my parents were like, "Do you want to watch Karate Kid?" And then I thought they were talking about the shit version, so I didn't watch it, and I really regret it now.
Oh. Okay. So have you seen the
Unfortunately,
Jaden Smith one?
it was
It's
not good.
that bad,
It was
I
not
thought.
good.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe it was just my childhood, my younger self. I was more interested in the fighting. To be
Well,
honest,
as
than the
well,
story.
they're making a gritty
It was,
remake of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right. Okay. Who's going to be
Dunno,
the star?
but they're making a gritty remake of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway.
Right, back onto the film.
Back to the film at hand. One of my notes. The boss guy seemed to just be in.
Yeah, a sewer with bird cages everywhere.
And yeah, it was very. And they said they couldn't go in there because the air
Methane
was
for
full
some
of
reason,
methane.
and the babies hadn't
I
suffocated.
don't know whether he's. No. So whether he was just very flatulent and filled the air with methane, or it was just a side effect of residing in a sewer. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could pick a better evil
A sewer
there than
with bird cages.
just like a sewer and with bird cages. There's a nice touch, and random dangly ropes as well that just seem to get in the way of everyone. I thought the guy, the man, I've forgotten his name, but he was training up, just seemed to bear the brunt of all of the anger. He'd just cut off his hand or his fingers. I didn't seem to care either. It didn't really pain him, any of that, or getting shot or anything like that.
Like, he felt like that cow guy.
I guess that was one of his
fell into like a furnace
superpowers.
and just got out like nothing's the matter, G.
He did eventually cease though. I thought there was an interesting story going on with the woman and the scientist making the invisible cloak. That was a good little side story, and his whole trying to protect her because he knew he was going to die. That was a nice little bit. Bit more
Yeah,
depth
I
to the
think
characters.
making the invisible woman, like, saying why she goes invisible, and also kind of, because she's stealing babies, so you've got to, find some way to empathise with the character, because, I mean, she steals babies, it's going to be quite difficult, but I think they pulled it off somewhat.
Well, she only seemed to be stealing the babies because she was being made. She'd been like brainwashed by that guy.
I actually thought the guy with the silly hat was
I don't think her as a person
woman originally. You know, the main boss
the
guy.
with the silly hat.
Yeah, I thought he was a woman.
Oh, really? Alright. Oh. I didn't. I think that.
I didn't see the beard. I thought he was clean shaven. I was like, oh, that's a woman there.
Who knows? Yeah. Heroic Tree. Sorry, I was just looking it up. There is a sequel, The Executioners. 1993. With the same three girls as the main characters, which is good because I like them.
It was very cheesy.
Yeah, there were some cheesy moments like that. In fact, actually, that reminds me. One of the main annoying points was You know how the police officer and
Yeah.
his wife was the Wonder Woman one? How, even though she just had a mask on, he just didn't recognise her, his own wife. He didn't seem to notice that it was her until finally near the end he took it off and he was like, oh, that's my wife. I mean, come on. You could
Yeah,
really
his facial recognition skills are severely lacking.
No, and for a world-class detective,
Yeah.
it's worrying.
I definitely wouldn't trust him to solve my murder.
No. Although I would like to be on the job with him purely because he does cool flips and moves with vines.
Yeah, he can kick ass rather well.
Maybe he's just the brawn of the operation, and there's his mastermind.
Maybe
friend.
Wonder Woman's the brawn and he can
Here's a question.
mind stuff.
Yeah. Well, if they teamed up, they'd be good, but she doesn't seem to want him to know. She did spend a whole film like lying to him unnecessarily as well. Like, obviously trying to keep it a secret that she's Wonder Woman, but there were some points I can't even remember what, like she was buttering toast or something and he was like, what are you doing? And she tried to hide it and say nothing.
Yeah, like buttering
There's no
toast is
need,
fairly
is there,
innocuous.
Really? It was something stupid like that made me make a note saying, can she not tell a single truth to her husband? Another one of my notes. What was your
I couldn't really
favourite
remember any
line, if
lines.
you
I
have
wasn't
one?
keeping
One that
notes,
stood out to you?
unfortunately.
Okay. Well, my favourite one that I noted down was, your face is fine and the demon is dead. That was like,
That is a pretty
yes,
sick line.
that was a cool line. Because they like blow it up and the
We'll tell you what,
first
Noah,
thing
I'll
she
put it on
said
your
is like,
gravestone
"How's
when
my
you
face?"
die. The demon is dead and your face is fine.
Thanks.
That way everyone will know that you're dead in your
I
grave.
can't tell if that's a bit rude, to be honest.
You're the demon.
That I'm dead. The demon. Your face is
Yes.
fine and the demon is... I'm the demon, and you're just letting anyone know looking up the grave that their face is fine. Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
like Michael
how
comes to your
nice of
grave
you.
to gloat after he's killed you. You say, your face is fine. Yeah.
Alright. Well, this has certainly been a strange
Yeah,
episode that
Jude
now
comes to
Michael is
defile
killing
your
me.
corpse. You say, hey, Jude, your face is fine. Oh, what a
Good,
classic
good.
Jude moment.
Yeah, I'm just trying to... I'm just looking for what other notes... I think we've covered most of my notes here, actually. Oh yeah, there was one of my favourite fight scenes was when the three of them were in like that warehouse and she came to try and take a baby and then they all got involved. That was a really good one with the Invisible Woman.
It was nice to see them all fighting
a
each other, so when we eventually got to
well-directed
see
one.
them fight together, it was like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah. It was just like a big team up. And the other really good one was when the guy with the decapitation tool stopped just taking people's heads randomly and actually got involved, because that guy, what my dad said, is he's actually quite a good, like a well-known
Oh yeah,
martial
all of
artist.
them were
And you can
very well
certainly see
martial
it
arted.
from the fighting. Yeah, martial arted.
Definitely.
That's because that is a word now, probably. And the only thing with the fighting, there was lots of spinning, and I feel like in real life you get very dizzy.
I also noticed,
trying to
like,
fight
at
like
the
that.
end when she's
Just
falling off the
constantly
building,
turning.
she takes bloody ages to fall.
Yeah, there was
I
some
wasn't
good
I don't even
slow-mo
think it was
moments
slow mo. I think
going on that just...
I don't know. It was weird.
I don't. Yeah, who knows? There were some slow-mo moments, I thought. There's a good one at the start, or close to the start, when she like lobbed the babies out the windows and Wonder Woman came running in on the wires. And,
yeah, and then the
like, pinned
baby
them to
flew
the
away.
wall. That was cool. It did. It sort of got like, I think she grappling hooked it or something.
I just
And
assumed
pulled
that it blew away in the wind
towards
because
her.
that's the kind of movie this is.
That is the absurd.
Actually, coming back, I think one of my favourite bits has to be when, like, the mercenary woman's just driving around on a motorcycle, and then Wonder Woman just throws a doll at her.
Yes, that was like, why? What is going on? I think it was to prove that she didn't want to like kill babies or something through some far-fetched
It's like,
doll.
come on, there's some way to do it other than just lobbing a doll at someone.
Very. Or, just like, yeah, she could have killed her. Would you, if you were driving a motorcycle, would you want a doll thrown at you? Would you have to, and to catch it as well? She clearly has very good bike control. She slowed down, caught the doll, stopped, had an argument with her about why she threw a doll at her.
Yeah, she's obviously a very skillful woman.
It's a very.
I suppose you've got to be if you're a mercenary.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Exactly. And to be able to ride a barrel with a stick of dynamite in it and shotgun people, that's certainly.
That reminds me, the weirdest bit was when that woman stole the pack of bullets from the mercenary's shoulder and then just fired the bullets out of the thing. It's like, that's not how bullets work.
Yes, that was cool. Yeah,
but that's not how bullets work.
That's what goes on. He's a magical man, okay? He can turn into a skeleton that can still move. Surely that wasn't the biggest point. The best one was when the bullet got shot and he like swallowed it and then spat it back out again. That's cool, but I think it's been done before. I did like that. Right, I haven't seen it before.
Hang on, sorry, I just got confused as to what was on my cheek, but it's a love heart sequin because of the work I was doing today. Yeah, I've not bothered to take the sequins off yet. But I just want to clarify to everyone, I was acting, I wasn't like being a prostitute or anything.
And what was the
because I was supposed to be someone from like early 2000s. Apparently this is what people wore in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. To be fair, we were born in the early 2000s, so I guess.
I wouldn't class myself as an early 2000s person though. I was
but a babe.
A child. Mm-hmm. I'd say I was early 20s. Maybe. It's not that. Anyway, another crazy digression there. Do we
this podcast's a bit on the short end, but yeah, let's sum up here. Do you want to give your final thoughts?
Yeah, I personally really enjoyed it. I like these Chinese, Hong Kong action films with lots of good wire work, slightly absurd, crazy fights. It's my cup of tea. I enjoy it. I really like these guys. And yeah, it was just generally quite absurd, quite mad, but some good quality.
Nice. What would you give it out of 10?
And out of 10, I don't think it's a 10, but maybe an 8.5 is quite high. I think I'd be hesitant to give any film a 10, to be honest. That's, it's like, it's got to be perfect. But it's high up there. It's a good. You know what? No, 9. I'll keep it as a nice
Okay.
linear number. 9.
I'd
9
give
out of
it
10.
a
It's good
7
good
out
film.
of 10. Because I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Gantz. Oh.
That's still quite good.
And like just comparing the two action films together, I've got to give it to Gantz
Yeah.
O instead. But it's still a good film. It's better than like a 6 or anything, but it's just
Yeah,
not
I mean,
the
they're-
best.
No. Well, yeah, it's whatever style you're into, to be honest.
Anyway, I believe that is the two films we have talked about. This has been the JMC Cast without Michael again. Remember to like, to comment, to subscribe, please. And please do it.
Please do that.
We
Please,
do really need it.
we
Anyway,
do.
I'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.